The air in the Mississippi Delta hangs heavy, a humid shroud woven with the scent of damp earth and unseen histories. You feel it, don't you? That pervasive, ancient sorrow that seems to seep from the very soil, clinging to the cypress knees and whispering through the Spanish moss. Here, amidst the sprawling cotton fields and the languid flow of the Yazoo, the past is not merely remembered. It is a palpable presence, a breath held in the lung of a forgotten era. This land, steeped in profound hardship and unsung lament, becomes a canvas for the ethereal, a stage where the boundaries of the known world allegedly thin and fray. Within this deeply resonant landscape, a peculiar and unsettling phenomenon is reported with unnerving consistency: encounters with what locals have come to call shadow people. These are not the familiar, often translucent apparitions of conventional ghost stories, but something far more primal, more indistinct. They manifest as fleeting, dark figures, often perceived in the periphery of vision, moving with a speed and silence that defy human understanding, vanishing as quickly as they appear into the Delta's oppressive gloom. Consider the account of an old drifter, a man known only as Silas, who allegedly traversed the back roads near Clarksdale in the late 1970s. He spoke of a moonless night, the only light cast by his sputtering headlamps, when a formless mass of pure shadow, taller than any man, allegedly coalesced from the roadside ditch. Silas reported feeling an intense, paralyzing cold despite the summer heat, unable to move as the figure seemed to glide alongside his vehicle for a stretch, its presence emanating an utterly alien emptiness before it simply dissolved back into the dense, inky blackness. Such tales are not isolated aberrations. They are woven into the very fabric of the Mississippi Delta, a region whose history is a tapestry of unyielding struggle. From the brutal legacy of slavery and the subsequent sharecropping system to the pervasive racial injustice that marked generations, this land has absorbed an unimaginable weight of human suffering. It is believed by many that these deep currents of historical trauma and spiritual resonance have imbued the very landscape with a unique energy, a fertile ground for the manifestation of non-human entities. Central to many of these chilling accounts is the profound cultural and spiritual significance of the Delta's ubiquitous crossroads. These intersections, often lonely and isolated, are not merely points where roads converge. In Southern folklore, they are allegedly potent spiritual conduits, places where worlds touch, where fateful decisions are made, and where, some believe, pacts with the unseen can be forged. The very air around them feels different, charged with a silent, expectant energy. One particularly resonant legend, deeply embedded in the Delta's mystique, concerns the blues musician Robert Johnson. The story, recounted in countless variations, alleges that Johnson, a young man with limited musical talent, vanished for a time, only to reappear with an unparalleled mastery of the guitar. He reportedly claimed to have met a tall, dark man at a crossroads who tuned his guitar in exchange for his soul. This legend, though romanticized, speaks to a deeply held belief in the spiritual potency of these desolate junctions and the darker bargains that might allegedly occur there. The connection between these crossroads legends and the reported shadow people is often unsettlingly direct. Many eyewitness testimonies place these shadowy figures precisely at such intersections or along the ancient, winding roads leading to them. It is as if the very act of traversing these fabled pathways awakens something ancient and watchful, a silent sentinel of the spiritual transactions believed to have transpired there over centuries. The phenomenon of these beings often investigates the thin veil between our world and another. The psychological dread invoked by these encounters is profound. Unlike a traditional ghost, which often carries a semblance of human form or recognizable features, Shadow people are defined by their very lack of detail. They are voids, absences of light, yet their presence is reportedly overwhelming, often accompanied by an inexplicable feeling of suffocating despair or an intense, primal fear that chills the blood deeper than any winter wind. This unique phenomenon leaves a lingering question mark in the mind, a persistent whisper of the uncanny. The delta itself, with its flat, unbroken horizons and its dense, suffocating vegetation like the invasive kudzu, seems to amplify this sense of isolation and vulnerability. The endless expanse of cotton fields, shimmering under the relentless sun, can feel less like fertile ground and more like a vast, empty stage where the unseen players hold sway. At night, the darkness here is absolute, swallowing all light, making it easy for the mind to conjure shapes from the periphery or for actual shadows to emerge, unbidden and terrifying. For those who have allegedly witnessed these entities, the experience often leaves an indelible mark, a permanent shift in their perception of reality. They speak of a heightened awareness, a sensitivity to the subtle shifts in atmosphere, a perpetual feeling of being observed even in the most mundane settings. The world, once solid and predictable, becomes a place where the edges blur, and the unspoken, the unseen, holds a terrifying new power. The collective memory of the Delta, steeped in the Gullah traditions of the Low Country and the broader African-American spiritual practices, often includes beliefs in haints and other spectral entities. While shadow people share some characteristics with these traditional spirits, they are often described as distinct, less like the restless dead and more like elemental forces, or perhaps the lingering imprints of profound suffering itself. They are often devoid of any discernible features. No eyes, no mouth, just a silhouette of absolute darkness. The stretch of Highway 61, often referred to as the Blues Highway, is particularly fertile ground for these alleged encounters. This historic road, which cuts a straight path through the heart of the Delta, has witnessed untold migrations, dreams, and despairs. It is a ribbon of asphalt laid over generations of stories, of people seeking a better life, often finding only more hardship. The echoes of these journeys, of the hopes dashed and the spirits broken, are believed to linger along its shoulders, manifesting as these silent, observing shadows. Local accounts from towns like Friars Point and Rosedale often detail similar patterns: a brief, almost imperceptible shift in the air, a sudden drop in temperature, followed by the fleeting glimpse of a tall, slender figure, often just beyond the reach of direct sight. These figures never interact, never speak, never overtly threaten. Their unsettling presence alone is enough to instill a deep, abiding fear, a sense of being utterly insignificant in the face of something ancient and inscrutable. The heavy, humid nights of the Delta, punctuated by the chirping of cicadas and the distant croaking of frogs, can turn ordinary sounds into harbingers of the uncanny. A rustle in the dense undergrowth, a shadow cast by a passing cloud, these become imbued with a new, menacing significance. The very landscape becomes an accomplice, its vast emptiness and oppressive quiet making it easier for the mind to wander into territories of fear and imagination, where the shadow phenomenon allegedly thrives. What are these shadow people truly? Are they residual hauntings, echoes of the countless tragedies that have unfolded on this land? Are they manifestations of collective grief given form by the sheer weight of sorrow? Or are they something else entirely, entities from another dimension, drawn to the Delta's unique spiritual energy? The questions linger, unanswered, contributing to the enduring mystery that shrouds this region. For those who have experienced these encounters, the world is forever altered. The once comforting darkness becomes a source of unease, every peripheral movement a potential harbinger of a silent, watchful presence. The sense of isolation inherent in the delta's vastness is compounded by the chilling realization that one might not be alone at all, but rather constantly observed by entities that exist just beyond the veil of normal perception. This constant vigilance transforms ordinary life into a state of subtle, persistent dread. The history of racial injustice in the Delta is not just a collection of historical facts. It is a living, breathing scar on the land. The unquiet graves, the countless acts of oppression, the voices silenced and stories suppressed. These form a powerful spiritual residue. It is believed by some that the shadow people could be manifestations of this collective trauma, silent witnesses to the pain, or perhaps even the lingering spirits of those who suffered, unable to find peace in a land still grappling with its past. The phenomenon itself seems to bear the weight of these unresolved histories. The phenomenon of shadow people in the Mississippi Delta offers a chilling and unique lens through which to investigate the deeper currents of this storied region. It is a narrative that intertwines folklore, history, and personal testimony into a tapestry of unsettling dread. The Delta does not merely hold stories. It actively participates in them, its very essence giving rise to these silent, enigmatic figures that patrol its roads and fields. The belief in these entities is not confined to isolated individuals. It is a shared undercurrent in many Delta communities, spoken in hushed tones around kitchen tables and whispered on front porches during humid evenings. There is a collective understanding, a tacit acceptance that certain parts of the Delta are simply different, imbued with a spiritual density that allows for such strange and unsettling encounters. These are not mere superstitions, but lived realities for many. The sheer vastness of the Delta's landscape, particularly at night, can feel overwhelming. The horizon stretches endlessly, blurring the line between earth and sky, creating an almost claustrophobic sense of openness. In this immense quiet, where human habitation is sparse and the sounds of distant life are muted, the mind becomes acutely sensitive to any deviation, any flicker of movement. It is in these moments of profound solitude that the shadow people are most frequently reported to make their unsettling appearance. The legends surrounding these dark figures persist, passed down through generations, evolving slightly with each retelling, but always retaining their core unsettling characteristics: the absolute blackness, the swift, silent movement, the profound sense of cold or dread they allegedly emanate. These stories serve not just as warnings, but as a cultural acknowledgement of the Delta's unique spiritual ecology, a testament to the belief that the land remembers, and sometimes it watches. The experience of encountering a shadow person is not quickly forgotten. It embeds itself deeply into the psyche, an unresolved question that gnaws at the edges of consciousness. Many who have reported such sightings describe a persistent feeling of being watched, an inability to fully relax in dimly lit spaces, or a sudden, inexplicable chill that sweeps through a room, bringing with it the ghost of a memory, a fleeting glimpse of something that should not exist. The personal impact of these encounters is profound and enduring. The Delta, with its ancient rivers, its solemn cypress swamps, and its fields that stretch to eternity, remains a place where the past is never truly past. It is a landscape where the echoes of struggle and spiritual yearning are so deeply ingrained that they allegedly take on a form, a silent, dark presence that moves just beyond our grasp. The phenomenon of shadow people serves as a potent reminder that some mysteries refuse to be solved, preferring instead to linger, unsettling and unexplained. This continuous interplay between the land, its history, and its spiritual beliefs creates a potent crucible for the unknown. The Delta does not simply house these stories, it actively generates them, a living entity that breathes with the weight of centuries. The unsettling encounters with shadow people are but one manifestation of this deep, enduring connection between place and spirit, a testament to the fact that some echoes never fade. And so, as the sun dips below the flat horizon, painting the sky with hues of bruised purple and fiery orange, casting long, distorted shadows across the fields, you might find yourself looking over your shoulder just for a moment. For in the Mississippi Delta, where the veil is thin and the past is always still here, you never truly know what might be watching from the deepening gloom, a silent, dark figure patiently waiting for its turn to be seen.